Hello, everyone. I am Miko, and I welcome you to the Opportunity Life podcast, where wonderful individuals share their life stories and their happiness habits and routines for you to get inspired. Every week, you will receive a tool with which you can work on your body, energy, mind, emotions, or spirituality. It is then up to you to pick and choose which techniques you would like to incorporate into your own life. Today we have Aria Brooks with us, a singer, actress, and writer currently playing in the TV series All That. Hello, Aria. I'm so happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
I saw you on an interview with Tabitha Brown, and you really impressed me by how you were speaking, the questions you were asking. It was really like a little Oprah Winfrey, and you're only 13 years old. I couldn't believe it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I definitely look up to Oprah, and I never really thought of it that way, but I do, I guess people say I'm really well spoken. I get it from my mom and my dad because I'm always around adults. So I guess I kind of pick it up from them, I guess.
Okay, wow. Very impressive. You pick up fast then.
Thank you.
So I will just dive right in. What was your motivation behind becoming a public figure?
Well, I never really thought of it as much as becoming a public figure and trying to get a bunch of followers. I never really thought of it like that. Growing up, I grew up in my mom and dad's band room because they were both band teachers, and now my mom's a music teacher. So I grew up around a lot of music, and this prompted me to join musical theater at a really young age. And when I turned 6 is when I started taking it more seriously, frequent classes, things like that. And I took it seriously, but I didn't quite realize what I wanted. And I later realized when I was 10 years old that I wanted to be on TV and be an on-camera actor. So when I was 10 years old, that's when that motivation for on-camera acting really came about.
Wow, okay. And do you have a goal that you want to reach with this?
Well, I definitely have several goals, but I think the umbrella term or umbrella goal of everything is to inspire people, because growing up, I didn't really have a lot of role models who were African American like I am, who were girls, who were in more than just the little sassy Black girl, angry Black friend, things like that, that kind of role. And I didn't have a lot of role models like that. So being able to be that role model for another girl who feels the same way as me, that's kind of where my motivation is behind this. And that's the biggest goal that I could have, to be that role model that I didn't really have growing up.
That's a very noble cause that you're following.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So what has acting taught you until now about yourself and about others?
Well, acting has it's opened up so many doors for me, especially as of late. So I think acting has definitely taught me a lot about passion and where passion truly comes from, because I tried so many things before deciding I wanted to be an actor. I tried so many different sports, and I love baking, but I was like, oh, I don't really want to take it seriously. I just want this to be a fun thing. So I tried so many different things, and none of them were really a passion of mine. But the one thing in the midst of everything that I tried out, basketball, soccer, everything, acting and singing, those were the one thing that I stuck with throughout all of that. So I think I learned a lot about passion in this process, and I learned that this is something that I'm really passionate about. And when I'm passionate about something, that's when I give it my everything, 110%. That's when I really produce the best work. So everything that I do now is passion driven, and that's just kind of where everything comes from for me. So I learned a lot about what I'm passionate about, and it's helped me open myself up and learn more about myself.
Yeah, I saw some of your parodies. They are amazing. You can see
Thank you so much. Thank you. And the funny thing about those are another thing that I'm really motivated about. So as soon as I get the idea, you can't pull me away from my pen and paper to keep writing it. And it's just, those are really, really fun for me.
Yeah, I also heard in the interview with Tabitha Brown that you do write a lot of screenplays.
Yes, I write. I've been writing a lot more as of late, especially, but I do enjoy writing screenplays and writing in general because I remember when I was in second grade, I don't remember exactly. I don't remember what it was called. If it comes to me, I'll say it. But I like published my first book in this like book club thing that we had, and I did all the illustrations and everything. So that's when like the writing really. That's when I realized that I really loved writing. So screenplays as an actor, it's a lot easier for me to write screenplays because I'm always getting a script from somebody for an audition or for the show next week. So that's very consistent. So that's one thing that I was like, oh, this should be easy to kind of pick up on, even though it's not completely easy all the time, of course. But it's kind of easy to pick up on because that's a part of my job as an actor as well.
You really impressed me at your age. I think a lot of people haven't even they're just sticking to sports and stuff like that, and here you are writing screenplays and acting.
Right.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed by being in the spotlight?
Definitely. It can get overwhelming at times, for sure. I think the way it's all about how you overcome the stress and the places where you're down. I think I've said it before, but basically, life isn't about avoiding setbacks. It's about continuing moving forward when you get setback. So I feel like when there are plenty of times where I'm overwhelmed or I have to learn a script and I have to learn this song and this dance and there's so many moving parts to everything, and I've been overwhelmed by some of it at times, but I think the main thing is pushing forward and pacing myself is a big thing. So pacing, like, okay, what's most important? I'll take an example, like on set, there are some days when we're filming one thing but the next day we film another. So let's say I have to film my script first. I'm going to learn all the lines to my script first, not stress out about the other things because I need to know the script. That's the next thing on the to-do list. So I kind of prioritize, see what needs to be done first. And I think that's what keeps me from completely blowing my top at times.
So this is how you handle it. You make a to-do list and you figure out
Yeah,
what's important, and then you just shut out everything else that you don't need at the moment.
yeah, it definitely helps a lot. So that's kind of what I normally do.
Great. So this podcast is about giving hacks and ideas to reach your happiness, and so I think this is a great idea of how people can handle a stressful situation. If there's a lot coming onto you, you can just divide it into small little aspects instead of seeing the whole huge mountain in front of you. You just take one step at a time.
Right. I agree.
How do you really know who to trust in this industry? This is always a question I've wanted to ask a celebrity or someone that is a public figure, because I feel this is a very difficult task to know, yeah, I can trust that person.
Right. I think being like this business is all about who you know, and as opposed to like you need to have talent, of course, but a lot of times if you know someone's brother who works at Nickelodeon, just as an example, that can take you very far. So it's a lot about connections and the people you meet. So it's all about being nice to people, but it's also holding your own. So not giving too much of yourself like out to people because you never know who everyone is. So I just think that's the biggest thing I could say. It's not really because like I said, connections, it's all about that. So I think meeting people and showing them who you are, showing them the kindness in you, that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like sometimes I can like overshare. So I'm the kind of person I meet you for the first time. Oh, guess what I've got going on in my life? You can't always do that. So that's something that I had to refrain from and not telling everyone every single thing. And that's something in life, even if it's not in the industry, not giving away too much because that can definitely come back to bite you in the butt. I will tell you that for sure. So I think it's just not giving away too much, getting to know people first and getting to know them well. And that's kind of how you build relationships with people and depending upon what kind of relationship it is.
Hmm. Yeah, you've said something very true. I mean, I learned this on a boarding school that sharing too much can really get you in trouble.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely, you got to watch yourself at times and not overshare if that's something that you do a lot. If you know yourself better than anyone else does. So if you know you share a lot and you give a lot of your information out because you're just that kind of person, then prepare yourself like, okay, I can't say talk about this and talk about this going on in my life because it can be taken in different ways as well.
Absolutely. So you wrote a single which is called Truly Me, and you speak about showing the world the girl inside and not covering her up. I feel like this is a wish of many celebrities, but it is not always possible. Who or what keeps you grounded and helps you regain your inner balance?
Well, one thing, like humility is something that like my nana's always taught me, my parents. So it's something that I've been taught even before being exposed to what I'm exposed to now and being in this new world that I'm in. So staying humble and staying grounded, the main thing, I not only do I like remember my mom's words and my nana telling me this kind of stuff, I think a lot of times I stay grounded with myself most importantly because a lot of times I can get carried away. And a lot of times I want to follow what other people are doing, or, oh, people like wearing these types of shoes. So let me wear the shoes that they're wearing because that's what people like. I think staying grounded and centered with myself is a big thing because what do I want? Even though that to a certain extent, humility, like I just said, but do I need this in my life right now? Because like why live someone else's life? Life is too short to do that, I think. So staying grounded is mainly about focusing on what's going to make me happy, but also making sure that it's not at the expense of other people and other people's happiness. And like we mentioned Tabitha Brown earlier, when I went live with her, she said, everyone have a good day, but even if you can't have a good day, don't go ruining someone else's. And that's definitely making sure I'm happy, but making sure I'm not ruining anyone else's happiness.
Very nice. Yes. Do you also use, for example, when you're trying to ground yourself, what are some exercises that you would do to ground yourself, except asking you the question of what do I really want? Do you maybe write
Mm-hmm.
or do you go out in nature or what are things that you do?
I think the main thing that I do to kind of stay grounded is writing. Because, like I mentioned before, I've always really loved like writing. So specifically songs, because I have like so many songs that I've written, and a lot of them aren't like, oh, let me release this so I can get a track to this and people can hear it. It's not even for that because writing and music is therapeutic for me. So when I'm writing, and like, for example, what I was saying earlier, I don't want to ruin someone else's happiness. And that means holding my tongue a lot because I'm the kind of person, I mean, I'm a Sagittarius. So I'm the kind of person who will speak her mind and has a lot of opinions, which everyone does, but I handle them in a different way. And the way I handle them is by writing them down. And I have to write them in a song because I'm not the type of person to be like, Dear Diary. That's just not me. So that's one way that I stay grounded and stay grounded with myself. I think another way is meditation. And meditation helps me in so many different ways, but meditation calms me a lot. So I think that's one of the biggest things. Actually haven't in a couple days because these last couple days have been kind of chaotic. But besides that, I think I meditated like 3 days ago, I think. So it's definitely like a consistent thing for me.
Where do you get your inspiration from to start meditating and things like that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I've seen a lot of like YouTube videos on it, and people will do like these guided meditations, and those are the ones that I prefer. But I've watched them so many times that I'm able to guide myself through meditation as opposed to having to listen to someone else. I think the biggest place that I've learned it, I've just seen it around. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I've never really I've never really answered that question to myself. So I think I may have tried it once. I'm sure my teachers have been like, okay, let's meditate class, things like that. But I kind of tried to adapt from the regular just sit there and don't do anything. I have to be thinking about something because I'm very like I move a lot, that kind of stuff. So I've kind of found the guided imagination meditation that works for me. So I don't know. It's taken a lot of other types of meditation and seeing people do it to kind of get to the point that I am now. If that answers your question.
Yes. Yeah, because it's not really something that in Germany kids are um, encountering a lot. Especially, you mentioned school, so you have this. Your teachers teach you this in school.
Well, I don't. I do online school, but for like all my life up until the beginning of 7th grade, I was in public school. So my teachers had told us like we meditated in class before. One of my acting classes that I took, like my teacher, he guided us in meditation at the end of every class. So, and I really enjoyed that meditation. So that kind of, I took that, adapted it. He gave us like a challenge: go home and meditate. Like every day or something, he said. So that it's just kind of seeing other people do it. um I don't know, I don't really, back to the question, I don't really go to school anymore. I do online school, but before, when I did actually go to school and went in and saw my teachers, we would meditate every now and then.
Okay, and what would you suggest to parents or even to kids listening, how to start with meditation?
Well, I think it's about, first you have to think about what you're trying to get out of it. If you're trying to just calm yourself, if you're, maybe it could be something as specific as your hands are shaking and you want to calm down, you're nervous. It's a lot of it is about calming yourself down, but you have to think about what you want to get out of it. For me in particular, normally when I meditate, I'm trying to calm myself down, one, and also trying to go to like a happy place, and like I X out negative thoughts by replacing them with happy thoughts. So it just depends on why you want it. And then what I would say is like specifics. I would say go to, maybe I go in my closet, but go to a quiet place where, you know, for the adults out there, your kids aren't going to barge in and ask for lunch. For the kids out there, whatever. So just go to a calm place. And I would say the first step is completely relaxing your body, because that, if you're moving and twisting and turning it, you're normally not going to be calm by the end of it, and you're not really going to be focused on what you should be focused on in your head. So completely relax. And before you, like, for my happy place meditation, that's kind of what I call it, to go to my happy place, wherever that is. Normally it's out on a beach somewhere. I don't know, it changes every time. But if dependent upon where you're going, what you're doing in your head, I would say remind yourself to calm yourself down, remind your arms to hang by your side. It's those reminders in your head can be very helpful. And then making sure you're breathing, because that's a big thing. Because one time I woke up from a meditation and I realized that I barely breathed, and I was breathing all hard after. So that was, but I mean, I was focused. So that's, I don't know, that could have been a good thing. But I would say a big thing is focus and calmness before you can really do anything, or else it's not really going to work.
Great. Yeah, I think that alone is going to help a lot of listeners already, if they have kids or if kids are listening. I think that's great advice
Yeah.
to get started. So thank you very much for this interview, Aria. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you only the best for your career, and that you get the platforms to inspire many more out there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me. I hope I could help someone.
I'm sure. I'm really sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.